Hey, this is Lee Balcom, and as I'm making this, it's kind of late in December, but still a couple of days left in this year of 2023 before we turn the page and go to 2024. And the reason I wanted to put this out in the middle of maybe you being on vacation or lots of people around. I mean, I know we've been doing lots of holiday stuff, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. And let me give you a little background. I got a friend of mine who is a family law attorney. In his early days, he would tell you he was pretty cutthroat as a divorce attorney. He was one of those, let me get you everything I can get you. And as he matured, as he noticed what was happening, he realized that his actions were having ramifications for years, decades even afterwards, where he kind of relished the fact that he had destroyed somebody. He had taken everything that he could get or protected them and gave them nothing. That was his thing. Do I get everything or do I get nothing? Bulldog in the proceedings. And really just kind of was that cutthroat attorney who, if you wanted the bulldog to go after your spouse, your opponent in court, there's a versus whenever you have that divorce proceeding, somebody versus somebody, and he took that seriously. One day, he began to notice all of the stuff, all of the things that were going on in families and people who would come back to court because of all the pain that had been caused by custody issues and all kinds of things. And so he realized that he was not willing to keep taking families apart. And so he made a shift in his practice and he began to try to make sure that first, whoever was coming to him really needed to divorce. Not just you come to his office and he automatically signs you up, which is actually true many times. People will tell me that they go to see an attorney to kind of see what the possibilities, see what the options are. And the option is always divorce. And the attorney always has these reasons in his head of how he's seen in the past that, or she has seen in the past that you've got to go down that road, right? There's no coming back from this, which obviously it's a self-selective population. If you keep helping people get divorced, then pretty sure that at one point you're going to say, everybody who comes to me gets a divorce, because that's exactly what they're pushing. This one, and this is the reason he's my friend, he realized he didn't want to be a part of that divorce industry. So he represents people who think they wanted to get a divorce, but his first task is to figure out if they really have done everything they can to avoid divorce. Have they actually taken the steps? Have they been seeing a therapist or a coach or worked through the process, done something to try to bring it back? If so, yeah, he still represents them. But what he works on is making it fair and making it peaceful. I can get behind all of that. There are going to be times when a marriage cannot be saved. And what I would rather have happen instead of just coming in with a wrecking ball is we find a way of leaving peacefully, of untying things and allowing people to move through their life, which brings us to this little calendar. You might notice that I've got a couple of things. One is this date that is circled. And then you'll notice that I couldn't just circle the date. So here's what happened. I called him and I said, hey, a number of years ago, he and I were talking about the what's kind of become known as National Divorce Day in the United States. My guess is there's something similar that happens in other parts of the world, but National Divorce Day in the United States, it's not officially recognized. Thank goodness we haven't gotten to that point, but it is a date that stands out as kind of the spike in people making inquiries on getting a divorce, of pushing paperwork through, just kind of as a spike. So much so that my friend tells me that he brings in some extra help just to answer the phone and take down messages. And I've talked to other divorce attorneys who have the same thing, that there is that day, National Divorce Day, when there's a huge spike. So generally that's considered to be the first Monday of the new year, after New Year's Day, the first Monday after New Year's Day. So that generally is the first Monday of the year, right? And so that's what happens is, you've got this holiday period. January 1st, people are still off work, and then they start going back to work. and they start making resolutions and they start deciding what they're going to do next. And often that is when they say, enough's enough. That's when they decide to take action. They have lots of reasons why. Sometimes they say, well, we've given the kids one more holiday that's good, right? We made it through the December holidays, Christmas and whatever else might be there. And so now we've done that. Now it's time to take action. So there are those people. Then there are all the New Year, New You people who are like, I'm ready to take a fresh start and really move this along. And so many times that first week of the year, January 1st on, they're still off work. They're still trying to kind of get their feet back underneath them after a busy holiday time. And then they're back in the office or back at work or back in the schedule. The kids are back in school. Everything is happening that first Monday, and it's time to take action. This year, that's why I have the big question mark. Is it going to be the day? Or is it going to be the week, really? Because some people are headed on back since New Year's Day is actually on a Monday. Some people are going to be trickling back in the office sometime during that week. And then we come to that first Monday, which is theirs, it's kind of getting later in the January. And so I don't know which one it's going to be. And he said, I don't either. I've got extra help coming in all the way from January 2nd, all the way through that week. And then he said, but I'll tell you what, it's beginning to be divorce month. Not just divorce day, maybe divorce week, but divorce month. That people are starting to get their things together during that month. Sometimes they haven't filed, and so they're starting to file. Sometimes they filed, but they've been holding it back. So there are lots of pieces to this puzzle. Why do I bring this to your attention? Well, because many people get really distracted over the holidays. We have so much coming at us, really from November on, November all the way through December. So, let's call it 6 weeks of distraction all the way through the new year, 6 weeks of distraction. And during that time, many people get so focused on the tasks of presents and celebrations and travel and visitors and all those other things that they stop the one thing that they should have been doing. Working to restore the connection with their spouse. Working on making sure that the holiday season wasn't a distraction time, but a focused time of connection. Well, now that time has passed. And I bring that to your attention because if you've had your foot off of the gas of working on things and off of the brake of trying to slow things down, if you have just been distracted in your efforts, now is the time to dial it in. Now is the time to really see if you can work on bringing that back. Maybe finding some ways of making some serious shifts in this last little bit. What will 2024 hold for you? Don't work from fear. Work from a place of saying, you know what, I need to be showing up as my best self from here on. There's no room for distraction. There's no time for that. If you're not sure how to do that, one of the things you may want to use is a journal that I created, the Thrive Journal. It's designed to help you thrive, but that's just something you might want to decide on. You can find it on Amazon, but it goes through a way for you to track how you want your day to go and work on it. So that's one option. But no matter what you do, make sure that you are getting focused in on what you want this year to be. This is when it starts, right? This is the start of something that could be a major shift for you one way or the other. And so I want you to get focused on that. Brenda Burchard, a colleague of mine, talks about the fact that there are two ways that things come into your life. They either come in against you or on you, or they come from within you and out, right? From the outside in or inside out. That's how changes come to you. Generally speaking, when they come from the outside toward you, they're not ones you want. There's not anything you have to control. You have some options when you focus on where you are and who you are and bringing more of your better self to that. So part of what we talk about here is how can you get focused on that connection? How can you get focused on that change that you need to make in yourself? And how do you create that new path for your relationship? The path you've been on didn't get you where you wanted to go. You don't want to continue down the path because that path often leads to what we're worried about here. That often leads to the place where they say, I can't do this anymore. I've got to get out. I've got to make a change. So I bring this to your attention because we're facing down that day. It will come. Sometimes it feels like those holidays never come, and all of a sudden they come and they pass, and you go, what now, right? What now? What are we going to do here? And this is not a day we want to celebrate. National Divorce Day, I don't want any part of celebrating that. I'd rather not even commemorate that. I would rather even not recognize it, but we have to. We have to prepare so you can move forward and get to the marriage you want. It is not enough to just stall out a legal process. It's not enough to just keep limping along. It's not enough to stay together for the kids. That's a fair reason to start the process. But then you've got to make it something that matters, something that you both will treasure. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting the same place again. This is not something we want to keep going, okay, is it coming? Is it coming? No, we want to make restoration in your relationship that will last. So take this as your kind of wake up that day is coming. People like my colleague are going to get the calls, and some of them are going to be like my colleague used to be. Not many are out there trying to bring reconciliation as their first place of business, the first thing that they do. No, they're there because they're going to take someone down. Don't let that happen to you. I've seen the damage. I've also seen the people who have restored their relationship. The difference between those two. Effort. Making sense of what's happened. Making a shift in what matters. Connecting with your spouse. Changing yourself. Showing up to be your best self. Creating a new path to get your marriage where you want to. You can do this. You've got this. If I can help, come visit me at savethemarriage.com. That's savethemarriage.com. This is Lee Balcom wishing you the best as you work to save your marriage.